everybody, it's Heather from Cottontail Crafts. It's Sunday, July 23rd, and I'm going to take a break from crocheting today, and I'm going to fire up my embroidery machine. And I think I'm going to make some in the hoop fabric coasters. I want to come up with some different ideas to sell at my markets other than crochet. Sometimes when you're at a market and there's like multiple crocheters, sometimes it's nice just to have adult items, other items that people might be interested in. So I thought I would make some coasters and film me making one of the coasters. So we're gonna make this one right here, and it's got little dogs on it. It's so cute. This design is designs by JuJu, and I will have the link to the embroidery file in the description below. And the nice thing about this is it comes in a set of different shapes. I think there's a couple of different sizes. There's different stitching designs that you can pick. I kind of like this one because it doesn't take away from the design. It's very simple. It's a circle. I like the circle. I think there's like a hexagon. There's a couple of different shapes. So if you have an embroidery machine, check this file out. It is pretty good. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we will make a coaster. There's another set that I did too that is really, really cute. It's got little kitties on it. Like, they're so fun. So much fun. So I'm going to flip the camera around and let's make a coaster together. Okay, so the materials you're going to need is your embroidery hoop with your cutaway stabilizer. So I'm just going to load that into the machine. I have my design loaded, and there's 10 steps to this coaster, and the machine stops after every step. So this is an 11-minute run, but with all the things that you have to do in between, it takes a little bit longer than that. So So I thought I would film the process of making a coaster. So I just have like a 4-inch square piece of scrap fabric. Actually, this is fabric left over from my zippered pouches. And I ironed on a fusible backing. It just makes your coasters a little bit more stable. And then when you're cutting away your fabric, I find it doesn't fray as much. So I have a 4-inch square piece of material. I have a 6-inch of my main color. I have a 6-inch folded in half of the same color, and then I have a 7x6-inch piece of fabric folded in half. And these two pieces are going to be my back flap. And then I have a 6-inch square piece of thin batting. So the first step that it's going to run is like a circle to show you where your coaster is going to go. So I'm going to run that, and it's a pretty quick run. And I don't have my machine running at full speed. So step 1 is just to show you where your coaster is going to go. And the second step, you're going to put your piece of cotton batting down and then run that. and it goes around it twice. And I don't think there's any way I can avoid that glare from the light. So now I'm just going to remove my hoop. And I'm just going to angle my camera down so you can see what I'm doing. So the next thing we want to do is we want to cut away the excess and I use my curved embroidery scissors for this part. It allows you to get really close to your stitches. So I kind of just lift up on the batten and then I just cut around. So then it looks like that. So that's going to go back in. Then you're going to put down your piece of fabric. And then it's going to run step number 3. And then step 4, it's going to do a smaller circle in the middle. So we're going to run that. Now, this is where I would remove the piece of fabric in the middle if I was using a very light piece of like a light colored fabric, because you don't want the design of this fabric to peek through this. So that's also why I use the iron-on interfacing on the back. I don't think I need to cut that piece out. I think it's going to be fine, just like this. So I kind of want this little dog here in the middle of my circle. So I'm just kind of and we're going to run that. And I like to iron all my fabric beforehand. Makes it nice and flat. Kind of looks like my dog. So step number 6, it's like a decorative stitching that just goes on top of the whole coaster. So I'm going to run that, and it says this step is going to be about a minute. And I'm using white thread for all the first steps. So I thought I would give the coasters a try and see how they do at my markets. Because with your fabric choices, your coaster options are like endless, right? So who doesn't love dogs? But I'm just going to make a couple sets first to see how they do. So there is the stitching. So the next thing I want to do is take my scissors and I want to cut away this excess fabric. Let's see if I can get the camera angled. Sorry for the filming. I haven't filmed many embroidery tutorials. And the machine takes up so much room, right? Like if I push it back further, then it'll be harder for me to reach, so. But these scissors are a must when you're doing jobs like this. And I find the fabric doesn't tend to fray as much where I ironed on that fusible backing. And you do want to get as close as you can to the, so I think that's probably pretty good. So I'm going to load this back into my machine. And the next step, step 7, is going to do a satin stitch around this piece of fabric to like tack it down. And I like to pick a thread color that's going to match my design. So there's rust colors in this piece of fabric. So I'm going to switch my thread color from white to a brown color. And this step is 5 minutes long. Let's see if I can bring it down. And I'll try to figure out how to like speed up this part of the video so you don't have to watch this for like 5 minutes. But it is pretty cool. I mean, I've always enjoyed watching embroidery in the process. I used to run an industrial machine for like almost 15 years. And I actually really love my job, but my wrists gave out just from hooping garments all day. So I had to give it up. So I took my Christmas money that I made one year from the markets and I bought myself a little single head embroidery machine. I just love the hum of the machine. I love the noise. I love watching from start to finish the process. So I'm just going to pause this and I'll be back after this step. So it's almost done this step. Okay, so step number 8 is going to do a stitch on the inside of the satin stitch and then the outside of the satin stitch. I always skip this step because it's just extra stitches that I find I don't need. So I'm going to skip that step. And I skip step 9 because that's another stitch that's going to go between my satin stitch and my outside circle. And I didn't like the look of having a stitch in the middle, so I'm gonna skip that step too. So that takes me to the last step, which is 10 out of 10. And I'm gonna switch my thread to a gray, which there is in the material is a gray color. Okay, so now I'm going to take both of my pieces that are folded in half, and what you want to do is I always put this one down first, and it's hard to do with a phone in front of my but I want to have it just like maybe an inch past the center. And then the other piece, I'm going to overlap about an inch and line up my diamond pattern. And this is where I like to take my curved scissors and just kind of hold my fabric down as my pressure foot goes over that seam, because I don't want this fabric to shift or get bunched up. So probably not a safe thing to do, but this is what I do. Okay. See how that got caught? That's what you don't want to do. So I'm going to fix this and I will be back. Okay, so I just fixed that little mess. I think I'm going to try to just put down some tape and see if that works. And hopefully it does. I'm kind of glad that that happened, because don't do that. Don't do what I do. So we're going to try some tape. There we go. That's a little better. And it's going to go around twice. So how I could have avoided that was to switch up how I lay down my fabric. Like, instead of having the opening here, I could have flipped it around and had it so that the machine is running against the fold, you know what I mean? So there, we are done. So then I just take this out of the hoop. And then I have some pinking shears. And then I just cut around the whole thing. Like, these really are easy to do. But if I were to do it again, I would have my fold this way so that when it's coming down, it's not going to catch, because I had it this way. And when my when it was coming down here, it caught the fabric. So next time, I would have it this way so it doesn't catch. So now you just want to flip your design inside out. Okay. And there's your coaster. So what I do is I take them over to my ironing board and I give it a good press. And then I have this stuff. It's called Heat and Bond. So I will just cut a strip the same width as my coaster, and I will put this in here, and this acts as a glue. It'll melt, and I iron over that, and that will close that flap. And there's your coaster, done. This really does kind of look like my dog. I'll insert a picture of Milo so you can see. But that's how you make the coasters, very quick and easy. I made some earlier. And I have this Nova Scotia tartan. And I bought these little fishing hut fabric. So I made a set of Nova Scotia coasters. So I thought these would be good for my markets, and I will let you know how they do. I'll probably sell a set of 4 for $20. I don't think I can get more than $5 a coaster where I live. So yeah, I'm excited to see how these do at my markets. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you follow me. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.